Amara sat quietly in her living room, watching her daughter Simi scroll through her phone. Lately, Simi had been acting differently. She spent more time with her friends and less time at home. Her laughter sometimes felt distant, her conversations short, and her eyes avoided Amara's questions. At first, Amara thought it was just teenage behavior, but a deep worry kept gnawing at her heart. Where does she go every evening? Amara whispered to herself. She noticed the subtle signs, the faint smell of perfume from friends' houses, clothes slightly wrinkled as if hurriedly changed, and occasional whispers she couldn't hear. She had asked Simi about her day many times, but the answers always felt incomplete. Nothing is wrong, Simi said repeatedly, yet her tone lacked sincerity. Amara's mind raced with possibilities. She had heard stories from neighbors about children sneaking out, joining the wrong crowd, or getting into trouble. Could Simi be facing something similar? The thought made Amara's chest tighten. She loved her daughter and wanted to protect her, but she also wanted to understand her world without overreacting. One evening after dinner, Amara poured herself a cup of tea and sat by the window. Simi was in her room, humming softly, probably chatting with her friends online. Amara sighed deeply. She realized that simply asking Simi questions would not give her the truth. Her daughter was careful, smart, and capable of hiding things when she wanted to. If Amara truly wanted to know what was happening in Simi's life, she would need a new plan. The idea came suddenly, almost like a spark. What if I joined her school? Amara thought. She could enroll secretly and observe Simi's daily life firsthand. At first, the thought seemed outrageous. She was an adult, a mother, and would need to act like a student. How would she manage the dormitory rules, the classes, and blending in with teenagers? Could she really do it? Despite her doubts, Amara's desire to protect her daughter outweighed her fears. She imagined watching Simi interacting with friends, seeing if she made safe choices, and understanding what she was thinking. It seemed the only way to truly know her daughter's life at school. Her heart raced at the thought of hiding her identity from Simi while being so close to her. Amara began planning carefully. She researched the boarding school rules, checked the schedules, and figured out how to enroll. She made up a new name, Lola, and even created a simple backstory about being a transfer student. The plan had to be believable or Simi might suspect something. Amara rehearsed conversations, thought about how to act naturally, and reminded herself that her goal was not to embarrass Simi, but to understand her. Her husband, Kemi, was skeptical when Amara shared her plan. "Are you sure this is safe?" he asked one night, concern in his eyes. "You'll be pretending to be a student. What if someone notices?" Amara nodded. "I know it's risky," she said, "but I need to see for myself what she's doing. I have to know." Kemi sighed but eventually agreed to support her, helping with logistics and offering encouragement. The next few weeks were busy. Amara prepared documents, changed her appearance slightly to seem younger, and packed the small bag she would take to school. Her heart pounded with nervous excitement. She imagined walking through the school gates, meeting teachers and students, and sitting in the same classrooms as Simi. The thought of seeing her daughter up close, learning her secrets, and understanding her choices filled Amara with determination. On the first day, Amara arrived at the school early. The sun was just rising, casting a warm glow over the campus. She took a deep breath and whispered to herself, "You can do this." For Simi. She handed her enrollment papers to the receptionist, using her new name, and walked into the dormitory. Everything looked the same as she had imagined. The long corridors, the laughter of students, and the smell of breakfast from the dining hall. Amara had to be careful. She introduced herself to the other girls, making small talk and trying not to draw attention. Every time she heard Simi's name, her heart skipped a beat. She wanted to find her daughter quickly but also needed to act naturally. It was harder than she thought to hide her identity, especially when she watched Simi from a distance, laughing and talking with her friends, completely unaware that her mother was nearby. The first days were a challenge. Amara had to wake up early, follow strict schedules, and even participate in activities she wasn't used to. Classes were long, and the conversations with other students were sometimes awkward. But slowly she adapted. She learned to blend in, make friends with classmates, and keep her secret identity intact. All the while, she observed Simi carefully, noticing her gestures, her tone, and the choices she made. Amara discovered that Simi was polite, attentive, and surprisingly responsible. She helped classmates who were struggling, listened carefully to teachers, and even seemed to care about students younger than herself. Amara's heart swelled with pride, but she also noticed moments of caution. Simi sometimes avoided certain areas or friends, hinting that she was aware of potential trouble. By the end of the first week, Amara realized this experience was teaching her more than she expected. Not only was she seeing Simi's life firsthand, but she was also understanding her daughter as a person, not just a child who needed guidance. Amara began to see Simi's intelligence, independence, and resilience. She felt both relief and admiration. Yet, despite the pride, Amara knew she couldn't relax completely. She still had to act like a student, keep her identity secret, and carefully observe Simi's interactions. The balancing act was tiring, but Amara reminded herself of her goal: to protect, understand, and support her daughter in the best way possible. Each evening, after lights out, Amara would lie awake in her dorm bed, thinking about what she had seen that day. She reflected on Simi's friendships, choices, and the little details that revealed her character. Amara realized that spying was not just about watching, it was about learning, listening, and understanding. She started to feel a deeper connection with her daughter, even without Simi knowing. Amara's plan had started as a bold and risky idea, but already it was giving her insight she had never had before. She understood Simi's world, the challenges, the pressures, and the little victories that her daughter faced every day. And while Amara knew there would be surprises ahead, she felt ready to face whatever came next, determined to learn the truth and guide her daughter with love and understanding. The first part of her undercover journey had taught her patience, observation, and the value of seeing the world from her daughter's perspective. Amara knew that the days ahead would bring more lessons, more surprises, and perhaps even moments she had never imagined, but she was prepared. For the love of her daughter, she would do whatever it took to understand, protect, and support Simi. Amara felt her heart pound as she walked through the school gates, now officially enrolled as Lola. The first day felt like stepping into a completely different world. Students bustled in the corridors, laughing, chatting, and heading to their classes. Amara tried to blend in, walking carefully, keeping her eyes forward, and pretending she belonged. Every step felt strange, but she reminded herself that her goal was to see her daughter's life firsthand. The dormitory was lively. Students carried bags, greeted friends, and settled into their routines. Amara had never experienced boarding school life herself, and she quickly realized it would be more challenging than she imagined. She had to wake up early, make her bed perfectly, attend classes, and follow all the rules. At first, it felt overwhelming. She stumbled over the morning schedule, nearly forgetting to join the line for breakfast. Other students gave curious looks, but she smiled politely and moved along. Amara struggled to adjust to the strict routines. Classes started early and teachers expected full attention. She hadn't studied in years and had forgotten some of the subjects she had once learned. During math lessons, she nervously followed the calculations, scribbling answers as best as she could. When teachers asked questions, she answered cautiously, careful not to reveal that she was older than most students. Every small task felt like balancing on a tightrope. Despite the initial difficulties, Amara began to adapt. She watched how the students interacted, how they respected the rules, and how they helped each other. She quickly learned which classmates were friendly and which ones preferred to keep to themselves. Slowly, she made small connections. A girl named Lami invited her to sit together during lunch, offering a friendly smile. "You're new here, right?" Lami asked. Amara nodded, introducing herself as Lola. She tried to sound casual, careful not to betray her true identity. Joining activities became another challenge. There were clubs, sports, and small projects that students participated in. Amara hesitated at first, unsure if she could keep up, but she realized that blending in required participation. She joined a small art club, where students painted simple landscapes. Amara found comfort in the brushstrokes and the quiet moments of creativity. She also signed up for a small drama group, practicing lines and expressions with other students. Her acting skills helped her maintain the illusion of being a regular student. Amara's days were long. She woke up early, attended classes, participated in activities, and returned to the dormitory exhausted each evening. Yet she found small joys in the routine. Watching younger students learn new things reminded her of Simi's early childhood. Sharing small jokes and conversations with classmates made her feel more at ease. It was tiring, but she began to feel a sense of accomplishment. She could manage this life while still observing her daughter. Keeping her secret from Simi was the hardest part. Every time Amara saw her daughter in the dining hall or passing in the corridor, her heart skipped a beat. Simi seemed completely unaware of the new student's true identity. Amara had to suppress the urge to run over, hug her, and explain everything. Instead, she smiled from a distance, observing quietly how Simi interacted with friends, handled challenges, and carried herself with confidence. The more Amara observed, the more she learned about her daughter's world. Simi had friends she helped patiently, classmates she guided during difficult lessons, and small moments of leadership that impressed Amara. She realized that Simi was growing into a responsible, independent young woman. Amara's fears slowly transformed into admiration, though her protective instinct remained strong. Amara also learned to navigate student relationships carefully. Teenagers were curious and new students often drew attention. She had to answer questions about her background, explain why she transferred, and participate in gossip without seeming suspicious. Each interaction required patience and careful thought. Slowly, she became part of the group, earning trust while keeping her secrets safe. One afternoon, Amara joined a group for a sports activity. Running, catching, and cheering with the other students, she felt a mix of embarrassment and excitement. Her stamina wasn't like theirs, but she kept pace as best she could. By the end, she was laughing, sweaty, and enjoying herself. The students clapped and teased each other playfully. Amara realized that being part of the group helped her understand Simi's social life better. The boarding school schedule was strict, with study periods, meals, and lights out. Amara found herself learning discipline and patience. She discovered that Simi's quiet diligence at school was no accident. She followed rules, managed time well, and balanced responsibilities. Seeing this firsthand helped Amara understand her daughter in a new way, building respect alongside curiosity. During free periods, Amara spent time in the library. She read books that Simi liked, studied small subjects she hadn't revisited in years, and observed Simi as she worked on projects. Sometimes, Simi would look up, smile, and continue her work, unaware that her mother was just a few feet away. Amara felt a mixture of pride and relief. Her daughter was intelligent, careful, and thoughtful. Even small details surprised Amara. She noticed how Simi helped classmates struggling with homework, offered encouragement when someone felt down, and quietly participated in school events without seeking attention. Amara realized that these qualities, which she had once worried might be missing, were deeply ingrained in her daughter. Simi was capable, empathetic, and independent. Amara's friends at school, unaware of her true identity, began to enjoy her company. Lami and a few others included her in small outings, conversations, and games. Amara felt grateful for their friendship, though she reminded herself that her priority was understanding Simi, not forming personal attachments. Yet, these friendships helped her adapt and maintain the disguise more comfortably. By the end of the first month, Amara had successfully integrated into school life as Lola. She woke up on time, followed the rules, attended classes, participated in activities, and observed her daughter closely. The experience had been challenging but rewarding. She had gained insight into Simi's daily life, social interactions, and character. Amara began to reflect on her own actions. She realized that spying, while risky, had taught her more than she expected. She learned patience, empathy, and understanding, not just about her daughter but also about herself. She saw the boarding school world through Simi's eyes, understanding the pressures, friendships, and small victories that shaped her daughter's daily life. At night, lying in the dorm bed, Amara whispered quietly to herself, "I can do this. I will learn, understand, and help her without interfering." Amara had been at the boarding school for a few weeks now, living as Lola, blending in with the students and observing her daughter Simi closely. Each day revealed more about Simi than Amara had imagined, and with each passing moment, Amara's worry slowly transformed into awe. Her daughter was not the secretive, reckless teen she had feared. She was thoughtful, responsible, and surprisingly mature. The dormitory mornings were always busy. Students rushed to wash up, make their beds, and prepare for breakfast. Amara had grown accustomed to the early wake-up calls, the clatter of trays, and the hum of voices in the hallway. She had also noticed Simi's routine, how she carefully arranged her books, checked her schedule, and quietly helped other students who struggled to keep up. Amara watched with a mix of relief and admiration. One morning, while walking to the dining hall, Amara saw Simi helping a younger student, Fola, who had dropped her books. Simi crouched down, picking up the scattered papers and handing them back carefully. "Here, Fola, it's okay. I can help you organize them," Simi said softly. The younger girl smiled, clearly grateful. Amara's heart swelled. She had imagined her daughter making mistakes, avoiding responsibilities, and perhaps even causing trouble. But this small act of kindness showed a different side of Simi. In classes, Amara continued to observe Simi. She saw her paying attention to teachers, taking careful notes, and asking thoughtful questions. Simi's concentration was remarkable. Even when others whispered, giggled, or lost focus, she stayed attentive. During math lessons, she helped peers who were struggling, explaining problems clearly and patiently. Amara realized that Simi had not only learned academics but also the value of helping others. The twins of Simi's dorm also caught Amara's attention. Some students were quick to make mischief, teasing others or ignoring rules. But Simi remained calm and composed. Once, during a game of dodgeball in the courtyard, a younger student accidentally tripped and fell. Simi immediately helped her up, checked if she was okay and encouraged her to continue. Amara thought quietly, she has such a steady heart for someone her age. Even the small challenges of dorm life revealed Simi's character. Some students struggled with cleaning duties or managing their time. Amara watched as Simi calmly reminded them of their responsibilities, not with scolding but with gentle encouragement. We all have to do our part. Let's make it easier together, she would say, smiling. Amara felt a rush of pride. Her daughter was learning leadership and empathy naturally. Amara also observed how Simi handled stress. One afternoon, during a group assignment, two classmates argued over the best way to complete the task. Simi stayed calm, listening to both sides and offering a solution that satisfied everyone. Her voice was firm but kind, guiding her peers to compromise. Amara realized that Simi was not reckless or rebellious. She was thoughtful, patient, and capable of managing conflicts effectively. During free periods, Amara watched Simi interacting with friends. While Simi had her group, she always included quieter students, making sure no one felt left out. Amara noticed how Simi remembered small details about others, their favorite colors, foods, or hobbies, and used that knowledge to make everyone feel welcome. Amara's worry about Simi being influenced by the wrong crowd began to fade. Her daughter had a natural sense of responsibility and care for others. Amara also saw Simi's dedication to her studies. Homework was never neglected, and even in art class she applied herself with patience and creativity. Once, during a science experiment, Simi carefully measured ingredients, recorded observations and explained the results to her group. Amara was struck by her daughter's focus and understanding. She is stronger than I thought, Amara whispered to herself. The dormitory rules, which had seemed strict and tedious at first, also became a place where Amara learned more about Simi. She saw her daughter follow schedules, respect teachers and help maintain order among the students. Simi's maturity shone through in ways Amara had not expected. Each day she discovered a new example of her daughter's responsibility, small, consistent acts that demonstrated character beyond her age. One evening during a group study session, a younger student, Kemi, struggled to complete a math problem. Simi knelt beside her, patiently explaining the steps. It's okay, Kemi. Take it slowly. Let me show you, she said, her tone calm and encouraging. Kemi nodded, smiled and finished the problem. Amara's heart swelled with pride. Her daughter was not only intelligent but also compassionate, willing to guide and support others. Amara also realized that Simi's independence was stronger than she had feared. Despite being young, Simi made careful decisions, understood the consequences of her actions, and balanced friendships with responsibilities. She did not need constant supervision, she had an inner strength that Amara had underestimated. At meals, Amara noticed how Simi managed her time, ate responsibly, and maintained conversation with friends without losing focus on her studies. Simi often helped pass food to younger students, reminded classmates about schedules, and contributed to the quiet order of the dining hall. Amara's admiration grew. Her daughter was capable, independent, and thoughtful, far beyond what Amara had imagined. Amara also learned lessons about herself. By living as Lola, she saw how difficult it was to blend in, follow routines, and maintain secrecy. She realized that Simi's challenges were not easy. Her daughter handled them with grace, intelligence, and care. Amara reflected on her own fears and realized she had underestimated Simi's abilities. In the dormitory, small events revealed even more of Simi's character. During cleaning duties, Simi organized younger students, encouraged teamwork and led by example. Amara realized that Simi's leadership was natural, quiet, and respectful. She did not seek attention but influenced others positively. Amara also noticed how Simi balanced schoolwork and friendships. She included everyone, helped peers in need, and avoided unnecessary conflict. The patience, empathy, and responsibility she displayed amazed Amara. She had feared rebellion, secrecy, and poor choices, but instead she found a daughter capable of kindness, intelligence, and independence. By the end of the month, Amara reflected on all the lessons she had learned. She had come to the school thinking she would spy to catch Simi doing something wrong. Instead, she discovered her daughter's strength, intelligence, and maturity. Each day, Simi had proven herself responsible, capable, and thoughtful. Amara realized she had been worried unnecessarily. Her fears had blinded her to the remarkable person Simi was becoming. Amara also grew as a mother. She learned to step back, observe and understand rather than control. She realized that supporting Simi meant trusting her, respecting her choices and appreciating her independence. Amara had expected to uncover secrets and mischief, but instead she discovered her daughter's true strength and character. As Amara lay in her dorm bed at night, she thought about what the next weeks might bring. There would still be surprises, challenges and moments that required careful observation. But now she felt more confident, understanding her daughter's world and realizing that Simi was strong, capable and independent. Amara had been living at the boarding school for several weeks, carefully observing her daughter Simi. Each day she learned more about her daughter's intelligence, independence and responsibility. Yet even with all the observations, Amara knew that keeping her secret hidden was fragile. She could feel that at any moment Simi might discover the truth. One afternoon, as Amara walked down the dormitory corridor carrying a stack of books, she noticed Simi pausing and staring at her with a strange expression. Something in Simi's eyes made Amara's heart race. The usually lively and confident girl seemed calm, yet there was a sharp curiosity in her gaze. "Simi?" Amara asked cautiously, trying to appear casual. "Lola, or should I say Mom?" Simi said calmly, taking a step closer. Her voice was steady, but her eyes reflected understanding. Amara froze. Her secret had been discovered. She didn't panic. Instead, she nodded slowly. "Yes, Simi?" "It's me," she admitted. Simi tilted her head slightly, studying her mother. "Why?" she asked simply. There was no anger in her tone, only curiosity. "Why did you pretend to be a student? Why did you come here secretly?" Amara sighed deeply. She had expected a burst of anger, maybe tears or shouting. Instead, her daughter's calmness surprised her. "I was worried about you," Amara said, choosing her words carefully. "I wanted to understand your life here, to see how you were doing and make sure you were safe." Simi listened quietly, her expression thoughtful. "Mom," she said gently, "I understand that you care about me and I appreciate it. But I'm not a little child anymore. I can make decisions, face challenges and learn from my mistakes. I don't need you spying on me to know that I'm okay." Amara's eyes widened. Her daughter's maturity was more than she had expected. Simi was not only aware of the situation but also able to express her feelings clearly. "I didn't realize, you've grown so much," Amara whispered. Simi smiled softly. "I have. And I want you to trust me. I know you love me and that's why you did this. But trust is important too. I need to make choices, sometimes mistakes, and learn from them. That's part of growing up." Amara felt a mixture of relief and pride. Relief that her daughter was safe, responsible, and mature. Pride that Simi had the courage to speak honestly, without anger, and with understanding. Amara realized that her fears had made her underestimate Simi's strength and independence. "I see that now," Amara admitted. "I was scared and I thought I needed to protect you in every way. But I've learned something important. You are stronger and wiser than I gave you credit for." Simi reached out and held her mother's hand. "I love you, Mom. I know you care about me. But I also need space to live my life, make choices and learn from them. You don't have to watch me all the time to know I'm okay." Amara nodded, tears welling in her eyes. She realized that the boarding school experiment had taught her lessons she could never have learned otherwise. She had come to spy on her daughter, expecting to catch mistakes or misbehavior. Instead, she discovered Simi's courage, maturity, and the importance of trust in their relationship. "I understand, Simi. I promise to trust you more," Amara said sincerely. "I want to support you, not control you. I want to see your world, but I also want to respect your independence." Simi smiled and hugged her mother briefly. "Thank you, Mom. That means a lot." After that conversation, Amara realized how much she had grown alongside her daughter. She had experienced the boarding school life, adapted to its challenges and learned patience, empathy, and understanding. But the greatest lesson was the insight she gained about Simi's character, her resilience, intelligence, and thoughtful nature. Simi and Amara spent the rest of the day walking through the campus together. They talked about classes, friends, and small events that had happened over the past weeks. Amara listened carefully, asking questions without judgment, while Simi explained her choices, struggles, and accomplishments. Amara discovered that Simi had been facing pressures she hadn't known about. From balancing studies with activities to managing friendships and responsibilities, Simi had handled every challenge calmly and thoughtfully. Seeing this firsthand, Amara's respect for her daughter grew even more. That evening, Amara reflected on the situation in her dorm room. She realized that her spying plan, while well-intentioned, had been unnecessary. Simi was responsible, independent, and capable of managing her life. The secret had been revealed, and instead of anger or disappointment, the experience strengthened their bond. Amara also realized that sometimes love meant stepping back, observing without interfering, and trusting her child to make decisions. She understood that Simi's independence was a gift, not a threat, and that her role as a mother was to guide, support, and trust. From that moment, Amara and Simi's relationship changed. There was more open communication, mutual respect, and understanding. Simi appreciated her mother's care but valued her freedom. Amara felt proud of her daughter and grateful for the lessons she had learned about trust, patience, and letting go of fear. The revelation also taught Amara about herself. She realized her fears had made her overprotective, and her actions, though well-intentioned, could have caused tension. She promised to approach her daughter's life with empathy, trust, and love, rather than suspicion. The next days at school were different. Amara no longer tried to spy secretly. Instead, she observed naturally, respecting Simi's space. Simi continued her daily activities, now aware of her mother's presence but confident in her independence. Their bond deepened, rooted in trust and understanding rather than secrecy. Amara learned to let go of control while staying involved in her daughter's life. She realized that Simi's independence did not mean distance. It meant growth, maturity, and readiness for the world beyond the school. Amara felt proud not just as a mother, but as someone who had witnessed her child's true strength. The revelation had transformed their relationship. What began as a secret, a plan to spy, became a moment of mutual understanding and respect. Amara saw Simi not as a child needing constant protection, but as a capable young woman ready to navigate life's challenges. From that day forward, Amara approached her role as a mother differently. She focused on guidance, support, and open dialogue. Simi, in turn, felt respected, trusted, and more confident in her decisions. Together, they navigated the remainder of the school term with a stronger bond than ever before. Amara reflected quietly before bed that night. The experience had been unexpected, challenging, and revealing. She had started with fear and suspicion, but ended with understanding, admiration, and trust. She realized that sometimes, the greatest lessons come from stepping into your child's world and seeing them through their own eyes. And in that moment, Amara felt a deep sense of peace. She had learned to trust her daughter, respect her choices, and embrace her independence. Simi had grown, and so had Amara, as a mother, a guide, and a loving supporter. Amara had spent weeks at the boarding school, blending in as Lola, observing her daughter Simi. During that time, she learned more about her daughter than she ever could have imagined: her kindness, her responsibility, and her independence. The recent revelation, when Simi discovered her mother's secret, had changed everything. The secret that had begun as a plan to spy had transformed into a lesson about trust, understanding, and growth. The day after Simi's calm and honest confrontation, Amara made a decision. She approached the school authorities quietly, explaining her real identity and why she had enrolled as a student. The headmistress listened with surprise but eventually appreciated Amara's honesty. "It is unusual," she said gently, "but I understand your intentions were to care for your daughter. What matters now is transparency and moving forward." Amara apologized for the secrecy and assured the school that she would no longer interfere in daily student activities. She emphasized that she respected Simi's independence and wanted to support her, not control her. The school staff appreciated her sincerity and accepted her decision. Amara felt relieved. She no longer had to hide or pretend, and yet she could still be present in Simi's life in a proper way. After the meeting, Amara returned to the dormitory and spoke with Simi privately. "Simi," she began gently, "I have spoken to the school. I'm stepping back, but I will always be here for you. I want to trust you fully, and I want you to know I believe in you." Simi smiled, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. "Thank you, Mom," she said softly. "I appreciate everything you've done for me. But I need to live my life, make choices, and learn from them. That's how I grow. I hope you can see that now." Amara nodded, tears of pride and relief in her eyes. She realized that her fear and worry had almost clouded her judgment. She had acted out of love, but she had learned that true love sometimes meant stepping back and trusting her child to navigate the world. The following weeks were different for mother and daughter. Amara no longer tried to blend in or spy. Instead, she became a supportive presence in Simi's life, checking in at appropriate times, offering guidance, and listening without judgment. Simi, in turn, appreciated her mother's respect for her space. She felt empowered, confident, and understood. Amara also reflected on her own growth. Living in the school environment, following strict routines, and observing her daughter had taught her patience, empathy, and humility. She learned how challenging life could be for a student, balancing academics, social interactions, responsibilities, and personal growth. These insights helped her understand her daughter's struggles, ambitions, and successes in a deeper way. At meals, Amara noticed Simi helping classmates, taking responsibility for small tasks and offering encouragement. During study sessions, Simi guided younger students, explained lessons clearly, and showed patience even when mistakes were made. Amara felt immense pride. She realized that her daughter's independence was not a threat, it was a strength, a sign that she had raised a capable, compassionate, and intelligent young woman. The bond between Amara and Simi grew stronger. They talked openly about goals, challenges, and dreams. Simi shared her school experiences honestly, knowing her mother would listen without judgment or interference. Amara, in turn, learned to support her daughter's choices, offer advice only when needed, and celebrate her achievements. One afternoon, during a school event, Simi was in charge of organizing a small activity for younger students. Amara observed quietly from a distance, smiling as she watched her daughter handle responsibilities with confidence. Simi coordinated effectively, helped students cooperate, and solved small problems calmly. Amara's heart swelled with pride. She realized that Simi's ability to manage challenges, inspire others, and act responsibly came naturally, something no spying could have fully revealed. Amara also began mentoring other parents subtly, sharing her experiences and the lessons she had learned. She explained the importance of trust, communication, and respect for a child's independence. She emphasized that love was not control, and support did not mean overprotection. Parents who listened were surprised and inspired. Back at the dormitory, Amara and Simi started spending more intentional time together. They studied, talked, and occasionally laughed about small misadventures. Simi appreciated the balance. Her mother was present, supportive, and caring, but she did not interfere. Amara realized that respecting her daughter's independence was not just a necessity, it was a gift that strengthened their relationship. During the weekends, Amara returned home, reflecting on the weeks she had spent in the school. She had learned more than she expected, not only about Simi but about herself. She discovered that patience, understanding, and trust were as important in parenting as guidance and protection. She felt a sense of peace knowing that she had allowed her daughter to grow while remaining a supportive mother. At the same time, Simi flourished. She excelled in her studies, formed meaningful friendships, and gained recognition for her leadership and kindness. Knowing that her mother trusted her decisions gave her confidence and independence. The environment, combined with Amara's new approach to parenting, allowed Simi to thrive both academically and personally. Amara also realized the impact of humility. She had entered the school with fears, doubts, and the belief that her daughter might be in danger or making poor choices. But by stepping into Simi's world, she understood that her worries were often unnecessary. She learned that a child's strength and character often emerge through trust and freedom, rather than constant oversight. The final weeks of the school term were filled with small joys. Simi completed her projects successfully, participated in school events, and continued to help peers. Amara cheered quietly from the sidelines, proud but unobtrusive. She learned to appreciate her daughter's achievements without trying to control or influence them. Before leaving the school at the end of term, Amara had a quiet conversation with Simi. "I've learned so much from watching you," she said sincerely. "I understand your choices now. I promise to support you, respect your independence, and trust your judgment." Simi smiled warmly. "Thank you, Mom. That means a lot. I know you love me and I love that you are learning to trust me too." They hugged, feeling a sense of connection and understanding that had grown stronger through the experience. The ordeal of secrecy, observation, and revelation had transformed into a deeper bond based on trust, respect, and mutual growth. Amara left the school confident that she had done the right thing by stepping back and allowing Simi the space to grow. She had learned that parenting required patience, understanding, and the ability to let go. She realized that her daughter's independence was not a challenge, but a sign of maturity, wisdom, and resilience. As they traveled home together, Amara reflected on the lessons she had learned. She understood that love was not about control but about trust, support, and guidance. She also realized that children, when given responsibility and respect, could rise to challenges, develop character, and make thoughtful decisions. Simi, walking beside her mother, felt more confident and valued. She knew that her mother trusted her, supported her, and loved her unconditionally. This new understanding strengthened their relationship and set a foundation for future trust, communication, and mutual respect. By the time they returned home, mother and daughter had built a bond that was stronger than ever. Amara knew that stepping back, trusting Simi, and allowing her to make choices had been one of the most important decisions she had ever made as a parent. And so, Amara and Simi moved forward together, closer, wiser, and more understanding of each other. They learned that trust, love, and respect could transform fear and secrecy into connection, growth, and a relationship built on mutual admiration. The lessons of the boarding school, patience, observation, humility, and trust, would remain with Amara forever. She now understood that supporting her daughter meant guiding her without controlling her, loving her without suffocating, and trusting her to become the capable young woman she was meant to be.